Hello and welcome to another video here on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to review some new needles. These are the Chiaogoo quads, which are square needles. They are fairly new, I think, here in the UK. So I thought I would review them today and chat about them. I actually picked these up in February at Unravel, but then I came home and I only had 2 days at home. Then I went to Norway and then I was home for a week and then I went to Cheshire, I think it was, the Black Sheep Walls. Then I was home for a few days, then I went to London, and then it was Easter. And finally, early this week, I thought, oh, I haven't actually used these needles yet. And I had to swatch for a new design using this needle size, so I decided to give them a try. So I thought I'd review them today. I have loads of other knitting needle reviews on my channel. I have a playlist, which I'll link below, and also at the end of this video. So I reviewed the Chiaogoo red lace. I can't remember if I've reviewed the Chiaogoo bamboo ones. I may have done. I've also done at least 2 videos on Knit Pro, one on Knit Pro Mindful Collection and one on some of the other Knit Pro knitting needles. And I've done Lykke, Higher, Lantern Moon, Sea Knit, Prim, and possibly some more, I can't remember. So I've done quite a lot of different knitting needle reviews on my channel, so I'll link that below and also at the end of this video. Apologies if the light is a bit funny in this video. It's going from really bright outside to really cloudy, and when it's bright in the sun's side, I need to close the curtain in here in the afternoon because I'm filming this in the afternoon, and when it's then clouds over again, it goes a bit dark. So apologies for the lighting in here, but we'll do our best. Anyway, let's have a chat about these new quad needles from Chiaogoo. So I hope you enjoy today's video. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through my website, YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I also forgot to say, I also have a review on Chiaogoo Forte, which I do really like. So I bought these at Unravel in February. I didn't buy a lot at Unravel, but I needed some new Chiaogoo cables. So I popped by the pearlescent store and they had their quads, so I picked some up. Unfortunately, I didn't read the label properly. I know that I like the longer needle tips, and Chiaogoo do, I think it's 13 centimeter and 10 centimeter tips. And the ones I like are the longer ones, the 13 centimeter ones, and I accidentally bought 10 centimeter ones. And it wasn't until I was screwing them onto the cables yesterday, 2 days ago, that I noticed that they were the shorter ones. So these are the 10 centimeter ones. And my problem is I have quite big hands and I like the needle to fill the whole of my hand, which they kind of do here just. So if I have another Chiaogoo here, which when I hold this one, you can see it goes past the end of my hand. I like to have the whole needle in my hand, so when I knit, it feels nice and secure. If my hand goes onto the cable like that, then it doesn't feel as secure to me, and I struggle to knit, especially to knit faster, and I do think it affects my tension as well. So if I compare this, now this is a bigger needle, it's a 5mm and this is a 4mm. So the 4mm one is the quads. But that is the difference in terms of length. So I did check online to see whether they did only one needle length or whether they did more than one, and they do 2 different needle lengths. So they do 10 centimeters and 13 centimeters. So I may have to in the future try and buy some 13 centimeter ones just to try those out. But I was knitting a swatch the other day, so I did use these quad needles, and it was fine for the swatch I was knitting. But when I cast them for the actual project last night, I actually switched to some regular Chiaogoos. So with the quads, and these aren't the first square knitting needles I have bought. I tried an American brand. I can't remember what they were called. I think they were DPNs, and then I've tried some Knit Pro wooden ones, and the problem I had with those was that they were fixed circulars, and the where the needle attaches to your cable was broken, or it wasn't very good. So I complained, and they sent me another pair that was a little bit better, but not a lot. So I wasn't very impressed. I'm actually looking on the Pearlescence website, and I'm going to just see what it says about these Chiaogoo quads, and then we'll talk about what I think about them. So the description on the Pearlescence website, these are sold on loads of different websites. I just chose Pearlescence because they're my go-to supplier for Chiaogoo. I normally tend to check them first, and if they haven't got it, I might order from somewhere else, but if they have them, I tend to order from there. Or I tend to, because I know they tend to do the same shows that I do tend to try and buy at shows if I can. So it says here, Chiaogoo quads are square stainless steel interchangeable tips, fully compatible with your existing Chiaogoo interchangeables. So if you already have a full set of Chiaogoo interchangeables, which I do, then you're fine. You can use them with all your cables and whatever else you have in that collection. The unique square shape is designed for comfort. The flat sides with rounded corners reduce hand, wrist, finger, and even shoulder strain by providing a more secure, relaxed grip. Quads are fully calibrated to match the gauge of equivalent round tips, so there's no need to size up. Made from the same hypoallergenic stainless steel with the signature Chiaogoo point design, they offer the same weight and smooth yarn glide as the twist tips do. So the twist tips, I thought they were called red lace. Is the red lace the fixed circular ones? But whatever the regular tips are, the pointiness of them are the same. And that is one of the things I like about Chiaogoo, is the point. They're very pointy without being too pointy, and they have a fairly good sloping part of the needle, and I really like that. When it comes to knitting with square needles, I must admit, when I was working with these, apart from the fact that they're a little bit short, when you're knitting with them, I don't really notice that they're square. When I'm holding them in my hand now, I can feel that they're square. But when I was knitting with them, I didn't really notice the squareness of them, if you like. Now, I don't actually have any hand pain. I don't have arthritis in my hands. I don't get any hand pain from knitting. Unless I think the only time I've had hand pain from knitting was when I tried to knit a whole sock in my size, which is size 8, size 42 in European sizes. I tried to knit a whole sock in a day, and I did have a bit of hand pain at the end of that, but that was quite a few hours of knitting. So if I do like a huge amount of knitting, then I might get a little bit of, not really pain, but more like my hands are feeling tired. But for my normal knitting, which is quite a lot, I don't really have a problem. So these come in the 5-inch, which is 13 centimeter, and the 4-inch, which is 10 centimeters. And they have the small tips for 3.25 to 5 millimeter, and the large tips from 5.5 millimeter to 8 millimeter. It says they're compatible cables. The small ones are compatible with twist, spin, swivel 360, and flex. X-flex, sorry. I don't know what all these cables are, but anyway. And the large size is, so the biggest size needles over 5.5 is compatible with twist, spin, and swivel 360. Swivel 360 is their swivel cables, which I tried a while ago, and I did do a video on them, and I wasn't that impressed with them. I'm wondering whether I talked about them in the video where I did the review the Chiaogoo 40 needles. I'm not sure. So I don't know, if you get hand pain, if you've got arthritis in your hands, or you get hand pain, it's probably worth giving these a try. They're not cheap. Chiaogoo are slightly more expensive needles. They're more expensive than most of the Nipro ranges, for example, but they're also much better quality. They're very light without being too light. I did read somewhere, I think when I was looking for information about these needles yesterday, I came up with a post on Reddit came up, and they were saying there, I didn't read the whole thread, but the first post said they were lighter than the regular Chiaogoos, but the description from Pearlescence says they're the same weight. I can't weigh mine because these are obviously shorter, so they're going to be lighter. I do think the shorter tips are really useful if you are knitting on smaller circular needles. So 40 centimeter, for example, is a needle length I rarely use because I find it's a little bit too short to pull around and I find it a bit uncomfortable. I think for using the smaller cables, the shorter tips are really good. So I can see that maybe if I decide to use 40 centimeter long cables, I would use these. But most of the time, I don't use anything shorter than a 60 centimeter long cable. Even for necklines like this, I'd rather use a 60 and do the traveling loop or magic loop than using 40 centimeter long cable. I'm very fussy with things like that. These work in the same way that your regular Chiaogoo cables. They have a little thing in the cable part. So when you unscrew them, I can't unscrew this. That's where they attach. I know these are the round ones, but there's a little thing on the cable part of the needle where you can put your little tool in to tighten it. Anyway, back to these needles. They're very light. They're comfortable to hold. If you already have a full set of Chiaogoo interchangeable, the normal metal ones, and you don't have any particular problems with your hands, I wouldn't say you necessarily need to go out and buy these. If you like trying new needles, and sometimes when you go to a yarn shop or a show, you fancy treating yourself, you don't necessarily want to buy more yarn, then by all means, buy a set of needles. But if you don't have a lot of Chiaogoos, or you need to buy a new size, or you do get a bit of hand pain or discomfort, then I do recommend that you maybe want to try these. If you have a friend who's got them, maybe borrow them first and see if they work for you. If you are watching this and you do get hand pain and you have tried either these or other square needles, let me know in the comments. I must admit, out of the square needles I've tried now, which are the Nipro wooden ones, I don't know what they're called, and Cubics maybe or something, I'm not sure. Then I tried an American brand, but I can't remember what they were called. These were definitely the most comfortable ones. The American ones I tried, which was a long time ago, were a lot sharper. You could feel the squareness of them more because they were sharper. These are quite, they are square, but they're slightly rounded, so they don't feel uncomfortable. And for me, they don't feel weird in my hands. When I was knitting, I couldn't feel the squareness. I can now, but I couldn't when I was testing them out yesterday. If I am at a yarn show or a shop later this year and they sell the Chiaogoo needles and I want to treat myself to something, but I don't want to buy more yarn, because we're hoping to move in the next year, I'm trying not to buy yarn at the moment. So I would potentially see myself buying some of these in some of the sizes I use the most. But I also have an awful lot of knitting needles and I don't really need any more. I'm happy to buy them to try out on my YouTube channel so I can do a review of them, because that obviously creates content as well. But I don't really see the point in adding to my collection just for the sake of it at the moment, because I do have so many needles. But I do like these. If I needed a new size I didn't already have, or if I was new to Chiaogoo and I fancied trying them, I would definitely try these. And if you do have hand pain, I would definitely recommend that you give them a go, and see what they're like. And if you have tried them for hand pain and you find them really good, let me know in the comments. So that is the Chiaogoo quads. I like them. They definitely get the thumbs up from me. They work great, just like the other Chiaogoo needles. And I will definitely probably add some of these to my collection at a later date. They, by the way, also have the size printed on them or engraved on them in it's the US size and the millimeter size. And Chiaogoo's, these also have them on them. They're not always that easy to see because of the fact that it's grey on grey, but they do not rub off. These are 5mm. These may have been part of my original set, these tips, and they feel, I can still read it on them. It's a bit fainter. I don't know whether it's become fainter over the years or whether they've just changed the way they do them. But on the quads, it's a little bit more, it looks a bit more visible. But also the quads, they have straight sides to print it on or engrave them or whatever they do. But they don't rub off like the Nipro ones quite often do. So let me know if you've tried these needles. Did you like them? Did you not like them? Let me know in the comments. And have you tried any other square needles? Do you like them, not like them? Do you think they're just a gimmick and not worth it? Do you not like Chiaogoo? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.